In the winter of 1562, over 10,000 Wokou stormed and ravaged the Chinese city of Xinghua, looting vast treasures. The city was reduced to ashes, its streets echoing with the cries of the innocent. As the flames of this devastation had barely begun to fade, another, even greater storm was brewing. In 1563, upon learning of vast treasures hidden in Xianyou, 27,000 Wokou flooded toward the city, determined to claim the riches for themselves. But would they succeed as they had before, or would history write a different ending for them this time? This battle would not only determine wealth, but also life and death, the fate of many hanging in the balance. Let us follow General Qi Jiguang and witness how he leads the last line of defense for the Ming Dynasty, facing an unprecedented threat.
In 1562, the smoke of the Battle of Lin Dun had barely dissipated, but the camp of the Qi army was engulfed in a heavy silence, the worst casualties they had suffered since their formation. Blood-stained armor lay in piles, and the groans of the wounded mingled with the cold night wind. Standing in front of his tent, Qi Jiguang stared to the southeast, finally clenching his teeth.
Return to Zhejiang. We need to rest and prepare for battle.
Little did he know, a storm was brewing back in the capital. Hu Zongxian, the governor of southeast China, had been the Qi army's strongest ally. It was this very governor who, against opposition, had given Qi the resources to train new soldiers and develop new weapons. But now, with the fall of Hu Zongxian and the collapse of his patron, the political tides turned quickly, like a falling domino.
Sir, urgent dispatch from the capital.
A personal guard handed him a crumpled letter. As Tri unfolded it, his fingers trembled. Hu Zongxian had hanged himself in prison. He clenched the letter tightly, his knuckles turning white. The sounds of soldiers training outside suddenly seemed jarring. The new governor hadn't yet made an appearance, and the supplies and weapons once sent under Hu's authority now vanished into thin air.
Perhaps it's time to retreat,
he whispered, looking at the Wokou slaughtering sword given to him by Hu. The sword's patterns flickered in the candlelight. A few days later, a letter arrived from Fujian, bearing the handwriting of Supervisor Wang Daokun.
Your brother Yuanjing once gave me this sword. As we drank together under the moon, you swore, "We will not rest until the Wokou menace is gone." Now, the sword has not rusted. Does that mean your oath no longer stands?
The letter ended with a more somber remark.
Your brothers in arms, the people of Fujian, are still waiting for that sword to be drawn.
Qi Jiguang pressed the letter to his chest, then suddenly drew the sword from its scabbard, its cold light shattering the candle's flicker.
Prepare the horses. We're going back to Fujian.
However, the chaos in Fujian couldn't wait for him. In the winter of 1562, the wind carried the scent of the sea to Xinghua, as over 10,000 true Wokou landed, mostly defeated Japanese samurai and wandering men, their blood-soaked katanas glinting under the setting sun, their eyes focused only on the town before them. As they formed their lines, the sound of their armor clashing filled the air, and they surrounded Xinghua with such intensity that not even a drop of water could pass. General Liu Xian from Guangdong with just 700 men arrived ahead of the main force. From the reeds he could see the vast Wokou camp. His subordinate urgently asked,
General, should we charge?
Liu Xian stopped him, placing a hand on his sword, counting the distant bonfires with his fingers.
Over 10,000 ruthless bandits with only 700 men, we would never make it.
He set up a small camp to hold position and sent 5 of the most agile soldiers into the city with a message.
We will assist from the outside. We must work in tandem.
But those 5 soldiers were captured before they could make it far. The Wokou leader, holding the letter, smirked and cracked the captured soldiers' faces with the hilt of his sword. That night, dozens of men dressed in Ming army uniforms knocked on the gates of Xinghua. The city guard, recognizing their insignia, opened the gates, only for their swords to be met by Wokou blades. As flames consumed the city, a wealthy merchant hiding in his cellar covered his family's mouths, listening to the sounds of the Wokou ransacking above. When silence finally fell, he dared to peek outside, only to find the Wokou had already returned. They had learned that the wealthy hid their treasures in cellars and were methodically searching house by house. As the Wokou loaded their spoils onto ships heading for Ping Highway, Liu Xian paced anxiously in his camp. By the time a second group of 800 to 900 reinforcements arrived from Guangdong, they were immediately scattered by the charging Wokou, who trampled over their comrades' bodies and cleaved through their defenses. In the spring of 1563, as the reeds around Ping Highway began to sprout, 3 figures stood atop a hill. Qi Jiguang adjusted his sword at his waist and turned to Yu Daiyu.
You take the left wing and circle behind.
Then he turned to Liu Xian.
You hold the right wing, do not let them escape toward the sea.
The 3 exchanged nods, and below them 6,000 Qi soldiers sharpened their spears and filled the cannons with powder. The sound of the cannon's roar shattered the silence as the Wokou, laughing and reveling in stolen silk, were thrown into chaos by the explosive blast. Qi Jiguang swung his sword forward, shouting,
Charge.
The Qi army stormed the field, knocking over scattered Wokou with their long spears, and soldiers with blade shields cut off their enemies' tendons. When the smoke cleared, over 2,000 Wokou lay dead, though many managed to escape by sea. But peace did not last long. In the winter of 1563, before the plum trees in Xianyou had bloomed, the sound of hooves shattered the silence. 27,000 Wokou had surrounded the city. The leader, a wandering samurai, waved his sword and yelled,
3 days to breach the city. We'll take 3 shares of the gold and silver.
Inside the city, the defending general nervously peered out from the walls. The Wokou's tents stretched from the east to the west gate, and the torches made the night sky burn red. A piece of paper was slipped under the door. It was a message from Qi Jiguang's personal soldier.
The reinforcements are on the way.
What the soldier didn't say was that Qi Jiguang, at that very moment, was in a dilapidated temple 10 miles from the city, gnawing on dry rations. His only soldiers, 6,400 men, were divided into 8 posts, and only 3,000 were available for action.
General, the reinforcements from Zhejiang have been delayed 3 times.
A scribe handed him a stack of letters.
The officials in every province say, your men can fight, just hold your position.
Qi Jiguang slammed the letter on the table, causing the edges to tear.
Send another letter to Supervisor Tan.
He snapped.
Tell them if Xianyou falls, Fujian is lost.
Without waiting for a reply, he dispatched 500 elite soldiers to the Wokou camp. Every night, these soldiers circled the camp, banging drums and occasionally shooting fire arrows. When the Wokou charged out, they would retreat into the forest. The Wokou, not daring to approach the Qi camp, were further harassed by the constant presence of Qi flags flapping in the wind. When the ammunition finally arrived in the city, Qi Jiguang laughed at the cannons.
What are you going to do with these?
A soldier asked, puzzled. Qi squatted down and knocked on the cannon's base.
Hollow it out, thin the barrel.
When the Wokou intercepted a cannon and tried to fire it, a rogue carrying a torch approached, and the cannon exploded, sending shrapnel flying and wounding several Wokou. From that day, no one dared touch the Ming army's weapons. After 2 months of exhausting resistance, with the defenders eating tree bark and throwing stones, Qi Jiguang finally received reinforcements from Zhejiang. He split the forces into 3 routes.
Left wing, hold the north gate. Right wing, block the east. The main force will follow me and storm the south gate.
At dawn, the Qi army's battle cry pierced the mist. The Wokou, still napping in their tents at the south gate, were stabbed awake by spears. As they tried to flee east or west, they found Ming soldiers waiting. The leader of the Wokou attempted to escape to the north, only to have his throat pierced by Qi Jiguang's spear. The remaining Wokou fled to the mountains and sea, but were met by Shaolin monks and villagers blocking the mountain passes, armed with iron staffs and hoes, and by Qi's water troops, who set fire to their boats and trapped them on the shores. When the gates of Xianyou were finally opened, the defending general embraced Qi Jiguang's arm, and the townspeople offered him hot porridge. Qi looked at the Qi flags still standing amidst the burned ruins, and felt a mixture of emotions. Though the battle had been brutal, the Wokou threat was finally quelled, and the people of Fujian could finally enjoy a brief period of peace. He lowered his head and drew the Wokou slaying sword, its blade glinting in the sunlight. Though this battle had silenced the Wokou and Fujian, he knew his mission was far from over. New challenges might still lie ahead, but his resolve was unwavering.
The Wokou are defeated. Fujian is safe.
He murmured, gazing into the distance, his heart filled with steadfast determination for what was yet to come.
Thank you for watching this episode. If you enjoyed our story, please consider subscribing to our channel. Your subscription is crucial for our survival and allows us to continue creating more exciting content. Every subscriber's support is the driving force behind our work. We kindly ask you to click subscribe and join us in exploring more of history's brilliance and legendary tales.